On a gloomy Tuesday evening, Emily, a young journalist with a taste for the macabre, decided to investigate the rumors surrounding the Raven's Feast. Whispers of mysterious disappearances and unexplained phenomena had circulated through the town for years, and Emily was determined to uncover the truth. As she entered, the dim lighting cast a shadowy ambiance over the rustic decor. The walls were adorned with tattered tapestries, and the creaking wooden floor seemed to echo with the distant wails of lost souls. The only patrons present were a couple seated at a corner table, their faces obscured by the hooded darkness. The maitre d', a gaunt figure with hollow eyes, welcomed Emily with a cold smile. "Table for one," he asked, his voice a low, haunting murmur. She nodded hesitantly, and he led her to a secluded booth in the farthest corner, away from the flickering candlelight. The menu, worn and stained, offered a bizarre selection of dishes. The descriptions were vague, and Emily couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister lurked behind the culinary choices. Intrigued and unnerved, she ordered the shadow steak, a dish rumored to have a taste like no other. As Emily waited, the oppressive atmosphere of the restaurant intensified. The couple in the corner stared blankly ahead, their untouched plates growing cold. The shadows seemed to dance along the walls, whispering secrets only the darkness understood. When the waiter brought her meal, the shadow steak was a sight to behold. A thick, obsidian black slab of meat sat atop a bed of wilted greens. The aroma was intoxicating, a blend of spices that seemed to awaken long-buried memories. Tentatively, Emily cut into the steak. The knife glided effortlessly through the meat, revealing a deep crimson interior that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. She took a hesitant bite, and the flavors exploded in her mouth, a symphony of sensations that sent shivers down her spine. As Emily savored the peculiar taste, the atmosphere in the restaurant shifted. The couple in the corner had vanished, leaving behind only the chilling echo of their silent departure. The once muted whispers grew louder, filling the air with an unsettling cacophony. The shadows, once mere spectators, now seemed to slither and writhe with a life of their own. They crawled up the walls, enveloping the restaurant in an inky darkness. Panic set in as Emily realized she was no longer alone. Figures, obscured by the shadows, lurked in every corner, their eyes glowing an otherworldly red. A guttural sound echoed through the air, a mixture of anguished moans and malevolent laughter. The Raven's Feast had come alive with a sinister energy, and Emily felt an invisible force tightening its grip around her. Desperation clawed at her as she tried to flee, but the shadows seemed to weave an impenetrable web around her. The once enticing aroma of the shadow steak now reeked of malevolence, and Emily understood the true nature of the restaurant. It fed on the despair and fear of its patrons, trapping them in a nightmarish realm between the living and the dead. As Emily succumbed to the darkness, her final moments were marked by the haunting laughter of unseen entities. The Raven's Feast had claimed another victim, leaving only the chilling whispers of its macabre secrets lingering in the air. The neon sign flickered once more, as if mocking the futile attempts of those who dared to uncover the horrors that dwelled within. The rain pounded against the windows of the forgotten town as Emily stumbled upon a peculiar establishment, the Whispering Spoon. Its exterior exuded an air of faded grandeur, the once vibrant colors now dulled by time and neglect. Intrigued, she pushed open the heavy wooden door, its rusty hinges groaning in protest. Inside, the dimly lit restaurant seemed frozen in time. Dust-covered chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting distorted shadows on the faded wallpaper. The few remaining patrons hunched over their plates, their faces hidden beneath tattered hats and shawls. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness, broken only by the occasional creak of the floorboards. A lone figure, the proprietor, emerged from the shadows. His pale eyes bore into Emily's soul as he gestured towards an empty table. "Welcome to the Whispering Spoon," he murmured, his voice barely audible over the distant howl of the wind. "Tonight's special will leave an everlasting impression." The menu, a worn leather-bound tome, featured dishes with enigmatic names like Spectral Stew and Eclipsed Elixirs. Undeterred by the ominous atmosphere, Emily ordered the Whisperer's Delight, a dish that promised a journey into the unknown. As she waited, the temperature in the room plummeted, and the air became heavy with an otherworldly presence. The patrons around her seemed to fade into translucent figures, their vacant stares fixed on the void. Unease gripped Emily, but curiosity drove her to remain seated. When the waiter brought her order, the Whisperer's Delight appeared deceptively normal, a steaming bowl of soap adorned with curious herbs. As Emily took the first spoonful, a cold shiver ran down her spine. Whispers, soft and indistinct, echoed in her mind, each word laden with a haunting urgency. The room transformed into a surreal dreamscape. The once muted patrons now walked a shadowy line between the living and the dead. Emily's surroundings morphed into an ethereal realm, where the boundaries of reality blurred into a nightmarish tapestry. The Whisperer's Delight held a secret power. It allowed Emily to communicate with the lingering spirits. Their voices, tormented and lost, pleaded for release from the purgatory of the Whispering Spoon. As Emily delved deeper into the spectral realm, she uncovered tales of betrayal, tragedy, and unspeakable horrors that had unfolded within the restaurant's walls. The proprietor's malevolent gaze intensified as Emily's connection with the spirits grew stronger. The once muted whispers evolved into anguished wails, a cacophony of souls yearning for salvation. The temperature dropped further, and the flickering candlelight cast long, distorted shadows that danced along the walls. Emily, caught in a web of supernatural forces, realized the true nature of the Whispering Spoon. The restaurant fed on the pain and sorrow of its patrons, trapping their souls in an eternal cycle of suffering. The proprietor, a conduit for the malevolent energy, reveled in the despair that fueled the haunting whispers. Desperation seized Emily as she fought against the spectral forces, each whisper threatening to consume her sanity. The room pulsed with an otherworldly energy, and the air became thick with an oppressive darkness. In a final desperate plea, Emily uttered a prayer for the trapped souls. As her words hung in the air, the restaurant quaked with a supernatural force. The spirits, freed from their spectral prison, ascended into the unknown, leaving behind an eerie silence. The once vibrant Whisperer's Delight now lay cold and lifeless, its secrets unveiled. The proprietor, his malevolence extinguished, vanished into the shadows, leaving the Whispering Spoon in a state of eerie calm. Emily, drained and haunted by the memories of the spectral realm, stumbled out into the rain-soaked night, leaving the forsaken restaurant behind. The Whispering Spoon, once a haven for the tormented, now stood as a relic of the Macabre, its secrets buried in the whispers of the departed. The restaurant's interior exuded a ghastly charm, with cobweb-laden chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. Tattered curtains barely shielded the moonlight, allowing it to cast ghostly shadows on the faded wallpaper. The tables were adorned with tarnished silverware, and the air carried a scent that sent shivers down Emily's spine. The hostess, a gaunt woman with hollow eyes, led Emily to a secluded corner. The other patrons, obscured by the dim light, seemed to mutter to themselves in hushed tones. The menu, parchment with ornate lettering, presented an array of dishes that bore names like Spectral Supremacy and Wraith's Wadger. Opting for the enigmatic elixir, Emily awaited her order with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. As the waiter brought a crystal vial filled with an iridescent liquid, a sudden chill swept through the room. The once muted whispers escalated into tormented wails, echoing off the walls like a symphony of the damned. Emily took a cautious sip of the elixir, and an immediate, otherworldly sensation coursed through her veins. The room wavered, and reality seemed to fracture. ghostly apparitions materialized at the tables, their eyes pleading for release from an unseen torment. The restaurant's macabre secret revealed itself. The cursed Cauldron was a nexus of the supernatural, a place where spirits trapped between worlds sought refuge. The elixir, a conduit to the ethereal plane, granted Emily the ability to commune with the restless souls. As the spectral figures converged around her, their stories unfolded like a sinister tapestry. Betrayals, murders, and unspeakable tragedies had stained the history of the cursed Cauldron. The spirits, bound by a malevolent force, yearned for closure and release from the eternal purgatory. The room pulsated with an otherworldly energy, and the temperature plummeted. Emily, caught in the grip of the supernatural, felt an invisible force pulling her deeper into the restaurant's grim history. The hostess, her eyes gleaming with a spectral light, revealed herself as the keeper of the cursed establishment. In a haunting voice, the hostess recounted the tragic tale of the cursed Cauldron, a place cursed by a vengeful witch, its walls soaked in the blood of innocents. The elixir, a creation of dark magic, had inserted both the living and the dead, feeding on their anguish to sustain the curse. Determined to break the malevolent spell, Emily confronted the hostess, who transformed into a wraith-like figure wreathed in ethereal flames. A spectral battle ensued, each wail and cry from the tormented spirits amplifying the intensity. With a final incantation, Emily shattered the elixir vial, severing the connection between the realms. The wraith disintegrated into a swirl of ghostly mist, and the tortured spirits, liberated from their ethereal chains, ascended into the unknown. As the last echoes of the spectral symphony faded, the cursed Cauldron stood silent and still. The once ghastly atmosphere lifted, leaving behind a mundane, empty restaurant. Emily, marked by the haunting encounter, emerged into the moonlit night, the neon sign extinguishing its ominous glow. The cursed Cauldron, now free from its spectral shackles, stood as a testament to the resilience of those who dared to confront the horrors that lurked within the shadows.